functions, okay? That would be functions. Because, you know, in scripting, one of the key things that is discouraged is code duplication, like repeating codes every now and then, you know. Code repetition, duplication is frowned at in terms of good practice, right? In terms of best practice of scripting, right? So as much as possible, you want to avoid code duplication, okay? So if we agree, have an agreement on that, okay? If we have an agreement, you see, it means we need to use functions, right? We want to use functions, right? We want to use functions, right? So let's see what we can make out of this. And let's call this CP switch case.sh. Let's duplicate the script and make this functions.sh, right? Functions.sh, right? We want a script on functions, right? We want a script on functions, right? So for functions, what we need to do is that let's vi into functions.sh, right? Let's vi into functions.sh, right? So this time around, we are no longer on switch case. So let's delete everything that pertains to switch case, okay? So we are trying to explore functions to avoid code duplications, you see? Want to avoid code duplications. Want to avoid code duplications, right? Okay, so we just want to clear this out so that we can explore functions, okay? Want to explore functions, and we need functions because we are trying to avoid code duplications. Okay, functions. Okay, so now, if for example, there's something that we do every now and then, right? There's something we express every now and then, like, okay, like when a task is completed, right? Something gets generated, or within the script, right? There could be something that recurs, right? There's something that is recurring, right? There's something that is recurring. Like, okay, let me see if I can use this as an example. Let's see. If we have, let's see, let's say an expression I make every now and then before some classes, right? So let's say I say, okay, I want to use this something simple, okay? I say greetings, say greetings, right? Maybe greetings message, okay? So for functions, okay, you open your and close your bracket there, okay? For you to have function, okay? So if the greeting message I have could be, you see, I opened this bracket and close it, then went in between, you see, I went in between the bracket, entered, so that I can find myself somewhere here, right? So let's say the greeting message is, I want to say something like, okay, let's do something more interesting. Let's do something more interesting, right? Let's do something more interesting along the lines of, okay, we'll do this, then we'll do that as well, okay? We have some time more, okay? So we'll do this and we'll also do that, okay? So let's say greeting, okay? So when we greet, you want to say, let's say, I want to say, hello, everybody, right? Hello, everybody, right? Hello, everybody. I'll say, hello, echo again, welcome, welcome to become a techpro.com, you see, .com. .com, okay? So hello everybody, welcome to become a techpro.com, right? So this is a greeting that I have here, right? Which recalls, right? You know, which recalls. I say, okay, I've put this in this function, right? I've put it in this function as a function. If I go ahead and do escape WQ, right? And I decide to run this script, right? Functions.sh, it doesn't return anything. What have I done wrong, right? There's actually something that is missing, right? So what you need to do is that it is not sufficient to just put this here, okay? So what you are trying to do is that you are trying to come in here and put in greetings, you see, greetings, greeting, you see, exactly what you have up here, you see. If I put in greeting, right? I decided to type it again, greeting, you see. I decided to type it again, greeting, the third time. It's like calling this function 3 times, right? It's like calling this function 3 times, right? Earlier, when I ran it, nothing happened, right? But if I run this script again, you see, it says, hello, everybody, welcome to becomeatechpro.com. Hello, everybody, welcome to becomeatechpro.com. If I decide to write the greeting word 10 times, it's going to display the content in here 10 times, you see? So if I just written it once, right? If I come here and just did once, you see, it only shows it up once, right? It only shows it up once. See, if I come here and I run this, it only shows it up once, right? But sometimes, you see, you might have a file where you've created the function and all of that, and you want to run the function from another file. You see, you want to run the function from another file, right? You want to run the function from another file, okay? So what you can do is that you can, your functions is in where is here, right? Is in functions.sh, okay? You can VI into a new file, okay? You can maybe any of the files, or we can create a new file, or look at one of the files we've worked on before, okay? Let's create a new file. Let's VI into run functions.sh. Functions.sh, right? We can do this. We can VI to run functions.sh, right? So inside this file, right, you can see there's nothing in this file, right? There's nothing in this file. So all we need to do is that we need to come to this file, right? We need to come to this file and specify a keyword, okay, to call the function, right? You see, if I come here and I just come here and I say, look at this, okay? I just say greeting, right? I say greeting. I just come here, I say greeting, you see, and I save this file. It doesn't make sense, right? And I decide to run that file, you see, I say sh run functions.sh. You see, it's saying command not found because it doesn't make any sense. I just wrote greetings, right? I just wrote greeting, right? It doesn't make any sense, right? But if we go to the same script, right? And I say something like this, right? I to insert, okay? I come here, I go to the top, I say source, right? Right? I say source, I say dollar, I say dot, slash, right? I say dot slash. I now specify the name of the file, right? Remember the name of the file was functions.sh. The name of the file that has the functions inside, right? Functions.sh. You see, that's the name of the file, if I didn't get it wrong, okay? So just use the source keyword and specify this, right? Specify functions.sh, right? Specify functions.sh, you see? So if I go ahead and do this, you see? I go ahead and do this and decide to run that functions.sh again, you see? It returns what? Hello, everybody. Welcome to becomeatechpro.com. Hello, everybody. Welcome to becomeatechpro.com. Okay. So now, why am I getting this twice? Okay. If you check your functions.sh file, okay, you see, you check your functions.sh file. Here's it, functions.sh file. You see that right in here, we even call the function again, right? We call the function here, right? So if we come here and decide to, you see, we come here and decide to take this out, okay? Or even leave this as it is and decide to take it out over there, you see? Let's say we take this out, you see? This script does not have, is not calling any function, right? You see? Escape, column, WQ, you see? So if we decide to run that script again, run functions.sh, you see, it only shows it once. Because inside run functions.sh, inside run functions.sh, vi run functions.sh, we have this calling something that is based somewhere else, you see? See, it's calling something that is based somewhere else. But let's see what happens if we decide to change this and specify the absolute path, right? Where is the script? Is in the home of EC2 user dash user, right? Is in the home of EC2 dash user, right? And we decide to save this file, you see. If you run the functions again, you see, it still returns it, okay? So what matters is you are using the source keyword, okay? You are using the source keyword, okay? You are using the source keyword, okay? So, and you specify the absolute path of the file, okay? So let's see what happens because I'm right here, right here. Let's see what happens if I decide not to specify the absolute path, right? If I decide not to specify the absolute path, let's say I come in here, I just specify this. I didn't specify dot slash, right? Let's see what we get. WQ, you see. If you run this, you see, it says functions, you see, file not found, right? You see, file not found, okay? So you need to either specify the absolute path or specify it as this, right? Dot, you see, dot, I to insert, okay? I to insert, dot slash, okay? Present working directory, saying in the present working directory, there's a file called functions, you see? So you can see the different appropriate ways to use it, okay? So now, Before we conclude with functions, I want us to also look at a possibility, right? I want us to look at a possibility with functions, right? I want us to look at a possibility with functions. Let's say vi, okay, let's cp functions, right? Let's say functions for numbers, right? Right? .sh, right? Let's do something more interesting, right? But what are we copying? We are copying functions, right? Copying functions, right? We are copying functions. Let's see what we can get with this. Copying functions into functions for numbers.sh, right? Functions.sh, okay? So let's, oh, functions, single high. Okay, so let's say this is what we are doing. Okay, so if you vi into functions for numbers.sh, you see, this is what we have right now. And this is just for greeting, right? Let's say you want to do something more interesting, right? Want to do something more interesting. I to insert, okay? We come up here. Let's say we want to take out this. Okay, let's say we want to take out this. I want to do something more interesting. Let's say I want to do something more interesting. Let's say I want to read, right? Read a number. Let's say I want to read X, right? But because we want to read X, we want to specify something to print. Print, read a value. Want to enter a value for X, remember? A value for X, right? For X. Enter a value for X, right? This is what we want to do, right? So we can also go ahead and say something like this using our knowledge of read, okay? We can also decide to do it the other way. Echo, remember? Echo, enter a value for Y, right? We can do this as well. Enter a value for Y, right? Y, okay? Enter a value for Y. So this way it will show up under, right? Read Y, right? This is another way of doing this, right? So we are getting input for X and input for Y, okay? So we can create some functions, right? We can create functions like this and say, want to create add function. Let's say we want to create add function. You see, add. Want to create add function, right? So within here, you want to set your bracket, okay? So for add function, you can say the sum echo, right? Let's come down here. Echo, want it to say the sum of X and Y, X and Y, right? The sum of X and Y is, can do something like this. Now use the expr command, you see, expr command, expr, we go in between, okay? We now specify $x, whatever it is that was entered, right? Plus $y, you see, $y. You see, $x plus $y, you see? can do this, something like this. Let's see what happens if we decide to set up additional functions, right? Let's say add, you see. Let's just deal with, okay, escape colon WQ, okay. So if we run this exactly as it is right now, you see, it won't return anything because we've not called the function, right? You see, tells us to enter a value for x, enter 4, enter a value for y, we enter 5, you see. That's all. It didn't show us anything. But show us the action, right? Show us the action. We like action, right? So because of that, we need to now come in here, I to insert, and we need to specify the function, right? And say add, okay? If we call this function now, right, by just typing add, it means we are calling the function, right? Calling the function. You see, calling the function. So if we do this and we run that script, okay, put in 4 for x, put in 5 for y, says the sum of x and y is 9. You see, we are also able to use functions that way, right? You see, we can manipulate, we can also go further and manipulate this, okay? You see, we can have several functions, right? Depending, you see, we can have several functions. We can have functions built up in this file, okay? We can have several functions built up in this file. Let's say we want to have, let's say, subtract. Let's have several functions. Let's create several functions. Subtract, you see, open the curly brackets and close it, go in between, enter, enter. Okay, so we can now say echo and say the difference, you see, between x and y is, you see, is, we now use the expr from command, right? expr command $x minus $y, you see, $x minus $y, then we'll close it with the backtick, right? So if for some reason we also want to have multiply, for example, multiply, you see, we have multiply. We can open and close, okay, go in between, enter, enter, right? Then say echo, you say the product, right, of x and y is, you see, is, we now use the backtick, open and close, go in between, expr, right, $x times $y, right? But because we can't just use this as times, we need to use the escape character, okay, to make it multiplied, okay? So now that we've done all of this, we are fine, you see. At the bottom, we are not specifying add or subtract or multiply, okay? But we can also do that, right? We can do that and go ahead and specify, you see, outside here, you see, you can say add, you see, add, subtract, you see, multiply, you see, add, subtract, multiply, you see. So if we run that function again, if we run that script again, you see, tells us to enter a value for x and y. X first, it tells us to enter, we enter 10. Y, we enter, let's say 5, right? See, it tells us the sum of x and y is 15. The difference between x and y is 5. The product of x and y is 50. So just as we did earlier, running from a different script, you can also do the same with this, right? You can set this as a source, okay, by creating a new file, vi, and call this source file. Let's call this source file. Okay, source file, okay. .sh. Let's get into source file.sh, right? So here, I can come here, I use the source keyword, okay? I want to use the source keyword. Source, you see, using the source keyword. Then I can decide to specify the absolute path because the file could be somewhere else, right? It could be in another directory, right? So you need to specify the absolute path instead of using dot slash, you see. One option is to say dot slash, right? And specify the file name, okay? This will work because it is right here, it's in the present working directory. But what if it is somewhere else? It is in the etc directory, slash etc directory, or somewhere else, right? Or a subfolder within where I am right now. So you need to use the absolute path, like say slash home slash ec2 dash user, you see, slash home slash ec2 dash user, then functions for numbers.sh. And so now within here, you see, if you remember in the other file, we have something set up there. So yeah, I can say calling, I can say something like this, calling the addition function, echo, right? I can just make it beautiful, right? Calling the addition function, right? Right? I can say calling the addition function, right? Calling the addition function. I'm just trying to beautify it, right? So I go to the next line and specify add, right? Add, you see? I can go again and say, hey, calling, you see, the subtraction function, right? There's ellipsis. Okay, let's subtract. You see, subtraction function. Okay, so now finally we can say echo calling the multiplication function, calling the multiplication function, you see, calling the multiplication function, you see. So these are things we could do, you know, just to make it beautiful, right? You see, calling the multiplication function. Yeah, we can just say multiply, right? Because that is the way we define the function over there, right? And if we want there to be like a short, you know, like a short break, you can say sleep for 2 seconds, right? Once you just don't want it to, okay, I can even bring that in between here, okay, add. Let me bring that up here. You see, I can say sleep so that it doesn't just show it immediately to bring in some effects, okay? Sleep 5 seconds, okay? Want it to sleep for 5 seconds before it displays the number. So to make it look, okay, 5 seconds is too long. I can do 2 seconds here, sleep. 2, you see. I can make it delay for another 2 seconds here, sleep. 2, right? So it should be as if it's doing processing something at the back, right? So you see, so that's what the sleep function will do. You see, so this is a command, sleep. Okay, sleep command. So when you say sleep space 2, you mean you want it to delay for 2 seconds before displaying whatever, right? So this is my script, right, that I've written. I wanted to call this function from this place, okay? So the script name is sourcefile.sh, okay? So if I decide to run this sourcefile.sh, okay, sh sourcefile.sh, let's see what will happen. It tells me to enter a value for x. I put in, what should I put? I put in 50. Tells me to enter a value for y. Let me put 20. You see, you can see some delays going on. Okay. So now the initial ones we got, these ones, they relate to the functions that are already called in the other script that is being referred to, right? So if we go back to that script, let's see the effect properly, right? Okay, if we go back to this script, okay, if I will decide to remove these guys down here, you see, these functions that are being called, you see, can decide to remove them and do this, escape column WQ, you see, you can decide to remove those. So what will happen is, that we are going to have, okay, what we'll be running is sh sourcefile.sh. I just want us to see the effect, right? Tells us to enter a value for x. Let's say we put in 5,250, whatever, some big numbers, right? And we decide to put in, right, this for y, you see, calling addition function, you see, calling multiplication function, calling, you see, the delay, because of the sleep command that we put in between, okay, is bringing about a 2-second delay. If you want to see the effect more, okay, you need to extend the delay time, you see. You need to extend the delay time. See, you can do that by saying, okay, you can delay it for 5 seconds, so you can actually appreciate the effects, right? So we're just exploring, looking at functions, and thought it's important to go into more details, look at more examples, and see how these functions are used, right, in real work scenario, right? So we can understand it for real. Okay, so if you run this now, let's say you want the value of this to be what? Some big numbers, and this another big number, right? Calling the addition function, you see, 5 seconds delay. The sum is this, you see. Calling the subtraction function, the difference is this. Calling the multiplication function, you see, the product is that, you see. So with this, we come to an end of shell scripting, right? We come to an end of shell scripting. So let's see